Welcome back to Reading Bear. Today, we will take a look at some new I Don't Work Here Lady stories. And if you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comments. Let's go!
The first story is titled, I'm sorry you confused my black shirt and cargo shorts for an orange smock. At Home Depot today picking up some flooring. A middle-aged lady approaches me asking if I can help her get something off a top shelf. I am 6 feet 4 inches and get asked this a lot no matter where I go. It's no big deal. I say sure and follow her further down the aisle. She points to a stack of tile on the very top shelf. I tell her that there is no possible way for me to get that and the store would need to get one of those lifter things for her. She thanks me and I go on my way. Or so I thought. A couple of minutes later I am back in the aisle I was previously in loading wood laminate into my cart and I hear a loud, "Excuse me," from behind me. Guess who found me again? Her, are you going to help me or not? Me, ma'am, I have my own stuff to load. Find an employee to help you. They are walking around or you can go to the front desk. Her, why should I find someone else when you are already helping me? It's at this point I realize she thinks I'm an employee. Me, ma'am, do you think I'm an employee? I don't work here. Her, if you don't work here then why were you helping me? Me, because you asked and I don't mind helping. Look at me. I'm wearing a black shirt and cargo shorts. All the employees are wearing an orange smock and pants. Her, as she is walking away, you shouldn't offer to help me if you don't work here. Me calling out to her, I didn't offer. You asked. Cue her flipping me off as she walks away. The next story is titled, Sorry, Wrong Number. My first year of college, I lived in a dorm. It sucked a lot, and so when my friend Paula asked me if I'd like to go in on an apartment with her and her incredibly cute friend Heather, I said heck yes. We each took a utility. Paula had the gas bill, Heather had electric, and I had the phone. I bought a telephone and an answering machine at Leechmere and we recorded a cutesy outgoing message. Within minutes, we had our first call, a guy looking for Abby Auto Rental. I told him he had the wrong number, and hung up. He called back immediately, Abby Auto Rental? Nope, me again. What number are you trying to reach? He read off my new phone number. I said, well, that's the number here, but this is a private residence. He said, well, I guess you're F.ed, because there's a half-page ad for Abby Auto Rental in the yellow pages with that number. Lots of luck. I grabbed the yellow pages and flipped to the car rental section. Sure enough, it was our number. I guess they had gone out of business fairly recently, for the ad to still be included in the phone book. So we changed our cutesy outgoing message to say, sorry, this is not Abby Auto Rental. They are out of business. You've reached Dave, Paula, and Heather. Please leave a message. It made no difference whatsoever. People kept leaving messages for Abby Auto Rental. At the end of the year, Paula and Heather moved out, and Dan and Jorma moved in. Jorma used to enjoy messing with the callers. He would take down their credit card number and make a reservation, promising free delivery, just as it said in the ad. Then he would go off to class. When the reservation time rolled around, the customer would call back, furious at the absence of their rental car, and frequently I would be the one to answer the phone. Dave, hello? Irate customer, where the hell is my car? Dave, sorry, Abby Auto Rental went out of business 2 years ago. Irate customer, what are you talking about? I gave my credit card number to someone this morning. Dave, you must have been talking to the ghost of Mr. Abby. Woo. Irate customer, I'm coming down there to kick your ass. Dave, okay, see you soon. You have the address from the ad, right? How are you going to get here with no car? Irate customer, rah. When Jorma moved out and Michelle moved in, we decided it was time to change the outgoing message again. We left longer and longer messages, but the calls kept coming. They had phone books. The phone books were 3 years old. Abby Auto Rental must exist. It must. Finally, I went out and bought a longer tape for the outgoing message. I recorded The Gift by the Velvet Underground. This song is 8 minutes and 16 seconds long. The left channel is the band noodling around aimlessly on their guitars, and the right channel is a male voice with a British accent, telling a story about a man who mailed himself to his girlfriend. We told all our friends to just hit the star key to bypass the outgoing message. This, finally, eliminated the car rental messages. I left the answering machine that way, and tried to forget about it. Almost a year later, I came home to a light blinking on the machine. It was the peevish voice of a little old lady, who had clearly listened to the entire story, including the part where the girlfriend uses a sheet metal cutter to open the box, accidentally killing her boyfriend. The message said, "That's a very nice story, but it doesn't help me, I want to rent a car." The next story is titled, "Apparently I'm a doctor. Hi, I'm fairly new here and this is a long story, but hey. So let's say my name is John Doe. I often get phone calls that go like, 'Hey, John,' I reply something sensible and they go, 'Listen, I have such and such issue with a patient.' It's always annoying calls about medical events or colleagues, bear in mind I'm an engineer. So this idiot Dr. John Poe has a name that's almost identical to mine and decided whenever someone annoyed him he gives him the same wrong number, my number. And every other call I get is I don't work here scenario, adding SMS and WhatsApp. I got fed up, found his number and tried contacting him to no avail. I sent him a message with a lawyer who contacted me and knew him personally, and a girl he was dating, to no avail. So I figured I would have some fun. I know for a fact he sees face to face some of these people, so I started interrupting them as they began asking, once I knew they were not patients, and hanging up. I said stuff like, "Sorry, can't talk, I just found out I'm getting a divorce." Some of the excuses I used are "got herpes, I'm in jail." Silly more or less harmless stuff. Then I ran out of ideas and began saying things to the effect of, "It's not urgent, but I really need to discuss something with you." I wasn't trying to get him into trouble or worry anyone too much, but annoy him. So one day I get a call from John. He wants me to stop, is quite mad, wants me to change numbers. That's not going to happen. That's the last time I heard of John. Kind of miss him actually. The next story is titled, "No, Karen, speaking the language makes me neither an employee nor a Nazi." So this happened last summer-ish, when I was traveling to visit a friend at their college, about 8 hours from mine. I was driving, because why the hell not, when I decided I was hungry and pulled over in a small town in the northeast US, so we're talking upstate New York, Vermont, Connecticut, that area. After a short yelping, I found this great little German deli. I have a lovely meal there, and end up talking to the owner for a bit. I almost never have the opportunity to practice my German, so I jumped at the chance to converse with the sweetest old Baden-Württembergish lady from you'll ever meet. For reference, Baden-Württemberg is a state in the southwest of Germany. I learn a lot about her emigrating to the United States, the town, its history as a hotspot of German immigration, important later, etc. After an hour or so, I had to get back on the road, so I paid, stood up, and started to walk back outside. I made it halfway to the exit when I feel a tap on my shoulder. Say it with me. Me is for me, K is for Karen, O is for owner. Good job, proud of you. K, in a thick accent, Alabama or Mississippi maybe? IDK, oh thank the Lord, you're off break. We're ready to order. Me, still thinking in German, was K, in the voice you make with a child when they don't get something, I am ready to order. Me, recovering, oh, sorry, I'm just passing through. K, what? You were just talking to the owner. Of course you work here. Are you trying to ignore your job? Me, I. K, cutting me off, come take our order this instant, and I'll think about paying after this terrible service. She'd been there for 5 minutes. At lunch rush hour. Me, listen ma'am, I just stopped for a sandwich. Please leave me alone. Here she was getting frustrated with me, and dropped one of those lines I'll remember all my days. K, I saw you talking with the owner, you obviously know each other. If you don't work here, why were you two talking Nazi to each other? Silence. Every head swiveled. Remember when I mentioned the German immigration to the town? Yeah. Me, quietly, what did you just say? K, you two are obviously Nazis, you're speaking the language. The owner slowly gets up. Oh, miss, you will not be welcome here anymore. Please leave. K, taken aback, what? Oh, you heard me. My father smuggled Jewish children to safety in Switzerland. How dare you accuse me of being a Nazi, how dare you accost this young man, points to me, in my establishment. You are being refused service. Leave. Now. The room is still silent as the lady huffs, grabs her and her poor husband and child, and drags them out of there, shouting almost incoherently about getting us all shut down for being UN American, whatever that means. The tension in the room held for about a minute, then slowly eased but never disappeared. The owner apologized profusely to me as I left, and offered me a coupon for the trouble. I took the coupon from her, thanked her profusely, apologized myself for her having to go through that, and left. I haven't been back since, but I still have the coupon, so maybe I'll make the drive out someday. The next story is titled, I eat breakfast at McDonald's, racism ensues. For context, I'm South Indian, and currently live in a mid-sized German town. I woke up a bit earlier than usual, so figured I'd stop at the McDonald's for some breakfast. I get my food, and I'm sitting at one of the tables by the entrance, and it's pretty early, so I'm also the only customer in the restaurant. I also have my headphones in watching a YouTube video on my iPad. Someone interrupts with a "Good morning." That was odd, seeing as I'm in Germany. Why not Guten Morgen? It's this older woman, perhaps about 50, with an open beer bottle in her hand, not that that's too unusual over here, apart from maybe the time of day, and tells me there's no one at the counter to serve her. When I inform her, in German, that I didn't work there, she refused to believe me. But you're Indian. So, I asked. Indians all have crap jobs, she replied. Then she started raising her voice, ranting that since I didn't work at the McDonald's, it followed I didn't work anywhere, and that immigrants were ruining Germany and how the AfD, far-right party, had the right idea. She wasn't done yet though, she saw fit to spit in my tray and told me to lick it. By then a manager had come over, so she'd heard the rant and witnessed the spitting. She asked me if I wanted to call the police. I did, but I also had a job to get to, so I declined. I'm a teacher, and there are exams today, and I'd promised a revision class, so if I didn't make it in or was delayed, the students would be screwed. I'm not sure how it ended, the manager have acted herself, I'm not sure. She replaced my whole meal gratis, which was nice because I'd pretty much finished. Guess I have some snacks for the day. The next story is titled, No, I Won't Make You a Goddamn Sub. Congrats on getting banned from Publix. I used to work in the deli of a Publix down in Florida, which is a fairly large grocery chain in the southeast. The Publix I worked in was fairly close to the Villages, which is the largest retirement community in the country. Probably something in the range of 2/3 RDs of all customers in the store were retirees. There was a larger than average number of rude customers, but there were a few regulars who were really foul-tempered. Of the year or so that I worked there, a 70-ish-year-old woman came in every Sunday and ordered the same thing, a toasted chicken tender sub with shredded pepper jack cheese. She was also the pushiest idiot I've ever had the displeasure of meeting. If there was a line and she was forced to wait, she'd start yelling that we need to hurry up because some of us have places to be, would loudly complain that the service here is getting worse every year, would lean over the counter and snap her fingers at anyone passing by and snap, "Excuse me. I've been waiting for service. Come here." She also had a habit of whistling at people like they were a dog to get their attention. Everyone hated this woman. She never said thank you, always found something wrong with everything you did. "This sub is burnt. There isn't enough cheese. I didn't see you wash your hands. I don't want that sub, go wash your hands and make me a new one," and never even tried to be polite. Unfortunately, Publix has a policy of "make it right," so we could never tell her to go duck herself like we so desperately wanted to. Eventually I got fed up with every other guest being a miserable old piece of crap more interested in starting a fight than they were in getting their deli meats, so I quit. 3 days after I quit, I came back into Publix and stopped by the deli to give one of my coworkers his phone charger that I had borrowed. As I turned to leave, that woman stepped out of line and said, "Hey. You work here, don't you? Come take my order." I said, "Sorry, I quit a few days ago, I don't work here anymore." Her, "I just saw you behind the counter talking to someone. If you have time to talk, you have time to help customers." Me, "Sorry, can't help you. They'll be with you soon." I tried to walk away, but she stepped in front of me and grabbed my arm, then pointed her finger in my face and started screaming at me that I was the worst employee she had ever seen, that I always messed up her order, that I should feel lucky to have a job, and that I need to do as she said or she would tell my manager. I yanked my arm out of her grip, told her to go duck herself, then walked over to the customer service counter and told the manager there that there was someone harassing other customers in the deli line. He said he had heard someone shrieking about something and was about to go see what it was. So he and I walked back over to the deli and I pointed her out to the manager. After a short conversation in which he asked her if anything was wrong, she started complaining to him that I was rude and unwilling to help. He told her that I no longer worked here, she was disturbing other customers and had to leave, and wouldn't be welcome back. She left complaining that Publix sucked and she would be calling corporate to file a complaint, and I got a few texts from my old coworkers thanking me for getting rid of her. Glad to help, and see you never, you old hag. The next story is titled, Lady Wants Wheelchair-Bound Woman to Get Something from Top Shelf. Background: I'm an amputee after a summer 2017 car accident, left leg. This story takes place like 2 or 3 weeks after I got my cast off, so forgive me if I can't remember the details well. Setting: Safeway, grocery store chain. Me, wearing a teal top with grey shorts, in a wheelchair, of vital importance, one leg. I was at the store to get some stuff for dinner and looking down the baking aisle. I was in a bit of a rush. I had grabbed a couple things and was trying to turn around to leave that aisle. As you probably expected, an older lady came up to me and asked for help. I'm terrible with saying no, so I reluctantly say, okay. Again, I'm in grey shorts and a teal top, clearly not an employee, who wear black pants and either a black or tan shirt, and clearly in a wheelchair. Karen equals the lady. Me equals goes without saying. This is paraphrased, don't remember exact words from near 2 years ago, sorry. Karen, I need this thing, I don't remember what, from up there, points to the top shelf, miles above my sitting height. I would have done it if I was whole, but I have terrible balance now and don't like to stand without my crutches. Me, okay. What do you want for me? Karen, well, I want you to get it for me. Me, being me, how? Karen, just stand up and get it. Me, you can see that I'm in a wheelchair, right? Karen, so? You need to help customers. Me, still not clicking. Me? Karen, yes, you. An employee should always put customers first. Me, the amazing dumbass, who finally gets what Karen's saying, oh. I'm a customer, not an employee. Sorry. Karen looks as if she's finally seen light and takes in my entire appearance. She somehow went pale and red at the same time. I'm still amazed by that feat, and rushed off. The next story is titled, Airline Captain, Bellboy, late 1980s at Denver Stapleton. I have just commuted in from Houston, my domicile, to pick up a trip originating in Denver. Strolling down the concourse in uniform, my suitcase and chart bag in tow. And a woman loudly says, you. Bellboy. Get my bags to gate 34 inches. And she dumps her bags in my vicinity and walks off. I consider them for a moment, and also consider that I am headed for gate 34. Thoughts run through my mind, one of which was that I don't really want this woman on my flight. So I consider my options, ignore the bags and consider my happy stroll to gate 34. At some point the woman realizes that I've ignored her request and comes jogging after me. She begins shrieking. At one point in her tirade she bellowed, "I'm not going to tell you this again." To which I replied, "Oh good. I'm glad you're not going to tell me again, now please stop bothering me." She, of course, pursued me all the way to the gate, curiously leaving her luggage in the middle of the concourse. I was greeted by the gate agent and asked her to unlock the jetway for me so I could get down to the airplane. As she headed for the jetway, shrieking lady grabbed her by the arm and yelled, "You're not going to let the damn bellboy escape. He left my bags. I want him fired." Gate agent smiled happily, and said, "Captain? Do you want to deny boarding to this individual?" I replied, "Yes, safety of flight. Irrational. Possibly intoxicated." Gate agent said, "I'll call security. And I'll do the paperwork. Have a nice flight." The next story is titled, apparently, I should have said, Merry Christmas. So, I used to work in a grocery store, and still shop there every once in a while. Around Thanksgiving, one of the aisles get turned into a kosher for Hanukkah aisle. Early December this year, I saw one of my friends shopping in this aisle. I know for a fact he is Jewish. I was dressed about as far from the store's uniform as I could be while still wearing clothes. He and I talked for a while, and I left him with Happy Hanukkah. A lady quickly corrected me from the end of the next aisle, "You should have said Merry Christmas." I ignored her and went to stand in line at the deli, where I had worked before and still knew some employees. She decided to press the issue. I don't remember the entire conversation, but she eventually demanded to see a manager. Fortunately, one was nearby. He walked up and greeted me first, asking how my job at other company in other city was going. Suffice to say, the lady in question got a good talking to about how different religions handle various food-based restrictions. He added that if she accosted any customer or employee again over how they talk to people of these faiths, she would be banned from the store for the remainder of the holiday season. The next story is titled, I Don't Work Here Lady Vacation Edition. So I'm on vacation with my family. The hotel we are staying at has a nice free breakfast. It has one of those waffle machines as well. We walk down to eat breakfast. I'm wearing Batman lounge pants and a t-shirt. I make everyone a waffle because dads are the best, really, because I don't want the kids to start pushing each other around hot metal. After I hand the waffles, I finally make mine and start to sit down, when I hear I'd like 2 waffles. Obviously I ignore it and sit down with my family. The lady follows me and says, "Crazy lady, didn't you hear me? I said I wanted 2 waffles. Me, yay, I heard you. The breakfast self-serve. You have to make them yourself. Crazy lady, I just saw you hand out waffles to these people. Get off your butt and do your job." Me, these people are my family. I don't work here. I'm on vacation just like you. Crazy lady, listen here you lazy. Crazy lady's kid, look mommy, he's wearing Batman pants. She looks down, sees my pants. It finally clicks and she starts making her breakfast. Her husband walks up afterwards and tells me he's sorry, and offers to buy me us lunch on him. He hands me a 20 and says sorry again. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.